Hi and a very good day. So in this video session I will discuss one component under time series component, which is irregularities. The thing is, why I explain irregularity first after I explain trend, because there is actually irregularities that will affect our general trend. Okay, it easy if, as example here, there is actually a very significant upward trend, undeniable. When we plot the graph, it is undeniable. It is actually an upward trend. But what if it is really hard to determine whether trend, our general trend, is upward or downward? Okay, because of what? Because sometimes there are actually irregularities component in our time series that affect our the trend estimation and identification. So in your textbook there are three situations that mention, which is one major turning point, second occurrence of a major isolated or random shock, while lastly incident of an outlier. Right, the difference between major turning points and occurrence of a major isolated or random shock, it is actually for B, it is not permanent, while under major isolated is actually short term and long term memory effect. Okay, right, so let's take a look. Okay, what is major turning point? Okay, the thing is, when we see something that make our time series change, the trend is changed, we say that at that particular point there is major turning point. Okay, and these changes must be over a significant amount of time. It means that the change of direction, okay, whether from upward or downward from upward, must be over a quite long time period. Okay, and the result is usually a change in level. Okay, so suppose that when we want to investigate quite a long data series, there will be a few major turning point in your series. So that's why the thing is, how can we detect this major turning point? We look at why it happened. Okay, at that particular time period, why it happened. As example here, because of technological change, sudden change of taste, or change in policy affecting the industry. Right? Okay, next, major isolate or random shock. Okay, it's actually affect the trend and later returns to the normal level. Okay, and this thing, it depends whether it have a short term effect or long term effect. Short term memory effect, long term memory effect. Okay, why we use memory? Because we say how much the observation, the past historical data from the previous historical data that contribute to that particular effects and so on. Okay, for example here, it more on, as we can see here, the event is such as economic crisis, war, okay, and natural disaster. Okay, and we have incident of an outlier, where having extremely large or small values. Okay, this is, I think you you heard about outlier. Okay, sometimes as example here, okay, suddenly you see that there is an extreme value. Okay, but of course, when it happen, for incident of an outlier happen, okay, you have to recheck your data set first. Okay, whether it is actually an outlier, or you mistyping your data on. Okay, investigate first. And it's actually easy to eliminate, but of course, if you eliminate your outlier, it may result in loss of vital information pertaining to the series being investigated. Okay, so let's take a look at this graph example. Okay, as we can see here, based on this graph, okay, what are the components that exist? Okay, here I took some textbook example. Okay, as we can see here, the first period here, there is actually, oh, okay, I get it wrong. Okay, so it is actually a downward trend, and then suddenly it up. Okay, uh is it enough time whether this trend is okay, 2 years? Okay, 2 years, so 2 years is quite for okay, quite long, so you might consider this as a major turning point. But of course, you need to investigate what actually happened here. Okay, but here, as we can see here, suddenly there is a drop in value during 2001, and then they go up again during 2002. So what happened here? Okay, maybe based on our first investigation, we say that it is actually an outlier or random shock. So how can you determine whether it is outlier or random shock? Okay, since that it's particularly only 1 year here. Okay, it is more on outlier rather than major isolated component. That's the thing. But the thing is, you need to investigate your graph. Okay, so I think that's all for irregularities that may affect the trend. Okay, thank you for listening. Bye.